All right, we're here. We're live. We're having fun. Most of all, we're hanging out with you guys here on a fine Tuesday evening. I'm Preston Poole. That's Tyler Adams. He is down in it's Frisco, right? Is where Big 12 Media Days are going. Yeah, let's see the view. What a great view! They
It's
gave
beautiful.
they gave you the room with the view there in Frisco for Big 12 Media Days. So we're going to get into that. Joe C decides he wants to retire in the near future. They had a press conference announcing that today as well. And then the Thunder are playing Summer League. So we'll get into all that. Just a short show tonight because Teabag has a hot date with Mark Rogers here in a little bit. So
We're getting some barbecue tonight.
that I'm jealous. That sounds good. So yeah, just off the rip, I mean, your thoughts post day one of Big 12 Media Day.
Okay. Well, I'll tell the brief story. I tried to tell it all this morning on the Morning Animals, but I ran out of time and Phil made me stop telling the story. We never got back to it. I get here yesterday and I arrive at the Star for media check-in. Media check-ins from 1 to 6. You get your badge. And you could have checked in this morning. You don't have to be there yesterday, but
Yeah,
it's more so you could go set up. So you're just all ready for tomorrow. So I was like, all right, I'm going to get down there. I'm going to set everything up. Well, I go to check in. There's no Tyler Adams on the list. I'm like, what about a Mark Rogers? Is there a Mark Rogers on the list? There's no Mark Rogers either. So I call our boss, Cisco, and he's like, well, y'all are approved. And he sent me the confirmation email. So finally, I get in contact with the people I need to get in contact with. And I have to wait like 45 minutes for this badge. Just in this room, in this closet at the Star, pretty much. My phone's about to die, so I'm trying to preserve battery, and I'm bored of tears. Like I'm playing on my Apple Watch at points, reading group text and stuff, just entertain myself. Finally get the badge. Like, all right. I go and get the equipment, and if you know our boss Cisco, he sends you with pretty much I have the entire office.
Yeah, you have an arsenal of equipment with
you.
you.
Yeah, I have the entire office with us, and so I haul all the equipment, and I walk to the car, and I'm on the phone with Cisco. He's like, before you take all the equipment, go make sure everything's good to go. I'm like, yeah, probably a good call. And so I turn around, I go back inside, and Radio Row's even set up yet. I'm like,
oh really?
Oh my gosh.
So you were there at the start for the Morning Animals?
No, this was all yesterday.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I got in contact with kind of the head honcho around here for Big 12 Media Days. His name's Matt. Great guy. Nothing bad to say about Matt. Matt's a great guy. He was doing his best. And so I was like, hey, what time are you guys going to open tomorrow? I need to set all this up before I start my show. And he's like, well, what time does your show start? And I was like, 5:30. He goes, a.m.? I was like, yeah, it's a morning show. And he was like, oh, we don't open till 7. And I was like, well, I've been instructed to broadcast live from the Star at Big 12 Media Days.
Yeah.
And I need to set up a show. We have a live stream planned. We have all these things planned. And he's like, well, I've said in every email, to his credit, he's not lying. He's like, I've said in every email, we open at 7 a.m. And he's like, I even mentioned if you're a morning show, may not be able to do the morning show. And I was like, awesome. I was like, and so since Matt's a good dude, good guy, Preston, he's like, all right, I'll let you in at 6. He's like, I'm getting here at 5:45, so I can let you in at 6. Does that work? And I was like, yes, that works. So I get there at 6. I get all the equipment inside. And the Wi-Fi is not working. With Ethernet is not working. And so I started doing the show just kind of I finally joined the show just off my phone, which if you join with these, it sounds great on here, but if you try to do radio just with cord Apple headphones, it doesn't sound too good.
No.
And there's a radio station from Wichita, and they have the same tie lines we do, and a tie line for those listening is just it's how we do radio from anywhere.
Yeah, it's how we can connect.
It's how we connect. And all you need is the internet. You turn it on, you plug it in, WWS, blah, blah, blah. It's easy. But they have the exact same systems we do. And I'm like, are y'all's working? And they're like, nope. And I was like, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. And finally, we get up and running 7:30. And then once that was up and running, it started smooth sailing. Smooth
sailing. Yeah.
Smooth sailing. My brain's broken. But after that, we're good to go. But overall, so that was just the beginning. It was chaotic. It was a chaotic 12 hours. I went to bed at 8:57 p.m. last night. I haven't gone to bed before 9 p.m. and I don't know how long. And I'm an early morning riser, obviously. Also, the Drury Inn in Frisco, Preston.
Yeah.
We don't have any in Oklahoma City. To my knowledge, at least we don't. It's not the nicest hotel like ever, obviously. I mean, it's just a basic hotel. It is my favorite hotel I've ever stayed in, though.
Yeah.
You get a free dinner if you want it.
Oh, nice.
With 3 free cocktails.
Oh, wow.
You get a $50 voucher, which is a dinner and free cocktails. And this bed is the most comfortable bed I've ever laid in. I took a nap. I woke up from my nap like at 6:45, 15 minutes before the show. I took a little 45-minute nap, and I was sad to get out of my bed because I was not because I was tired or I didn't want to do this, but I was it is so comfortable. I just want to lay here all night. And I just know when I wake up in the morning, it's the last time I sleep in that bed, I'm gonna be depressed because it is the most comfortable bed I've ever slept in. They hook you up right with the pillows. It's a big king just for me. I'm just sprawled out. The room gets nice and cold. That you can have a fan, you can turn it on to where the fan's always blowing, even if it's not blowing, but it sounds like it's blowing. So you're not just in dead silence. It's just perfect here. It's perfect here. Big 12 Media Days itself, I know I'm going on a rant right now. Big 12 Media Days itself was pretty chaotic at first. It's a lot of people, a lot of people's things. We got some good interviews. I got to shake a couple, coaches' hands, trying to get them on the air. Met some great, great people from Snapback Sports and stuff that were right by us. Some other local guys are sitting right by us. So it's been a fun fest. Tomorrow is the day we're circling, though.
Yeah.
We have great interviews lined up thanks to Kayla and Mark. We're gonna have all 3 OSU players on. If I see Mike Gundy, I'm going to go on my knees and I'm going to beg to come on the air so I can say I'm the guy that got Mike Gundy back on the sports animal. It's not going to work because his own brother, Kale, couldn't make it happen the last 2 years. But maybe Teabag can get it done.
Maybe, just maybe. Work your magic.
So that's the end of my story, my rant, my Big 12 Media Days so far. It's just been chaos, but tomorrow's going to be smooth sailing. I can feel it.
I'll be honest with you. Media Day is kind of it's more for the media, right? Because I don't think anyone outside of the media really gives a damn.
No.
Unless you're in the SEC and you have all the Alabama fans rushing the entrances to try and get a sniff of Nick Saban's jock. Outside of that, it does nothing for me, right? But who gave off the best vibes for you today?
Ooh, that's a good one. Kenny Dillingham. Aura, all around, aura.
He seems like a guy with a little bit of aura.
He was the star of the show. Mark was really wanting to get him on, so I found their SID, and I went and asked. This is early on. This is 10 a.m. This is before Mark's even on air. He was on with Kale, but before Mark starts the show at 11. I went and asked, and they're like, dude, he's been booked out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We've had people reaching out from other states. I'm like, that's incredible. Because I think everyone realizes he's a future star in college football, whether that's at Arizona State or not. Being 36, however old he is, he's in his 30s.
Yeah, he's a young guy.
Mid-30s, and doing what they've been able to do so far at Arizona State. I think people see him as a future star in the sport, and I hope it's at Arizona State for as long as possible. I think he'll be there for a while because it is his alma mater. And he is so young, he doesn't have to rush anything. He doesn't have to rush to take a big job. He can do that in 15 years, and he's still, early 50s if he's even 50 by then. But I would say he's been the star of the show. Another guy with a whole lot of aura is Avery Johnson, the Kansas State quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because of his hair. When you see it in person, you're like, that's lush. That's just lush right there.
Yeah, I mean, you even get the vibes when you see him in a football helmet. You're like, that guy has some locks.
You know the lavender purple that Kansas State has? He was
Yeah.
rocking that in suit form,
Oh.
which was a great suit. Great
Yeah,
suit.
that's awesome. Obviously, yeah, like you mentioned, Oklahoma State is tomorrow, so all that stuff you'll be able to see right here on the Sports Animal YouTube, obviously on air as well. I did hear you mention just briefly at the end of Mark's show today the mascot battle royale.
Yes.
I thought that was a great idea.
Yes. Well, they were all there today because like OSU, like Pistol Pete was there.
Yeah.
But they were all there even if your team wasn't, attending yet. And they're playing, cornhole and stuff. You can see Willie the Wildcat, or no, it was the Jay the Jayhawk went over and started talking, and I can tell he's like legitimately talking through the mask too.
Yeah.
To some K-State cheerleaders, and really the Wildcat did not appreciate that one bit. And I don't think it was like some bit because I was like looking around, and it wasn't really because no one was filming it. Like it wasn't like no one was filming anything. I was like, oh, this guy's just going to mac on his rivals, girls, try to big what them. And Willie the Wildcat like went over and was like, nope, you get away. And that's what gave me the idea, because then I saw the West Virginia mascot, and I was like, we could do
now. Okay, so you mentioned the West Virginia mascot. Is it acceptable for him to talk since he's an actual person?
Yes, he was talking.
Okay,
he was talking a bunch. And I was thinking that him and Pete could do take 10 steps, turn around and shoot. I was thinking that'd be a good idea for them.
A little Big 12 standoff.
Yeah, a little Big 12 standoff right there. And then the Sun Devil Preston, the Arizona State Sun Devil Sparky, he's getting eliminated fast.
Yeah.
Saw him walking around. No disrespect to you, Sparky, but I'm not a tall guy. I was like Chet Holmgren compared to this guy. He's not
maybe
tall.
they have like a woman in the costume or something.
Maybe it could have just been a backup cheerleader.
Kind of like the Notre Dame leprechaun. You don't expect him to be a big guy.
Yeah.
Right. So
also, it's not fair to have a bunch of I'm gonna sound like an old man creep. That's all right. I don't care. It's not fair to have, just like the best looking cheerleaders in the Big 12 just walking around and dancing for TikToks and media all day right in front of you, and you're like, what am I supposed to do? Like
I don't think that's old. I mean, look, you're still 25, so
yeah. I mean, it's just weird to say, but at the same time, it's just like it's all day, like the whole day. There's TikTok dancing right in front of me, and I'm just like, and they picked. I mean, unless they're all just like that, but they did not pick the. They picked the tens. They picked
every lesson that young men learn growing up is that hot chicks rock. Right? Yeah. So
I'm a fan.
And unfortunately, that doesn't change no matter the age. So let's get into a little bit of football here. This is kind of tough, and maybe since you're an Oklahoma State guy, you know a little bit more, but expectations for the Cowboys this year. I mean, do we even know like who's going to be starting where or anything like that?
No, we don't know anything about quarterback. I mean, Preston, Josh Ford, he was a good, really good. He's a true freshman last year. I think his NFL potential eventually.
Yeah,
Stillwater guy. He's a representative tomorrow for Big 12 Media Days. He's a true sophomore. He's like 19 years old.
Yeah.
And he's like a representative for OSU tomorrow because they have no returning production. So, yeah, I don't know. I was talking to some other local guys today. Some, we had Barry Tribble on.
Yeah.
Beat writers and stuff for the Pokes. A Stillwater radio station was next to us, was talking to them and just about OSU, and everyone just has the same thing. Like, dude, like, no one's going to be shocked if they go 10-2 and end up in Arlington somehow. And no one's going to be shocked if they go 5-7. I think the only shocking result to me, Preston, would be if they go 0-9 again in the Big 12. That'd be the only wow result. Is like you've lost 18 straight Big 12 games. That would be the only shocking result to me. Everything else, like if you tell me OC is going to go 4-8, like I'm like, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I do. If I had to guess right now, I was going to take the cop out answer and just say 8-4, just very mediocre. Like take the middle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone knows. Sam Jackson, the wide receiver transfer from Auburn, who played quarterback and transferred to wide receiver or moved to wide receiver. I've heard people say that, he's one of the freakiest athletes they've ever seen. Some people were, a couple people were telling me to buy stock in him. I forgot his name. 6'5" edge rusher, transfer from West Georgia. They said he's like the fastest guy on the team. So I like that a lot. I'm like, that could be very dominant.
But that also having the edge rusher being the fastest guy on the team is also not good as well.
I got heard about how he chased down Gavin Freeman, who's like one of the fastest guys on the team. So I don't know.
Take the good with the bad, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. Tomorrow's gonna be interesting. Tomorrow's gonna be very interesting to hear what they have to say. I know Mark was able to schedule all 3 OSU players representing. Iman Oates, Cam Smith, and Josh Ford will be joining us tomorrow. I know that. And then we're also hoping to get a couple coaches that we have in the works as well.
Yeah. Well, that'll be cool to see. And then again, that'll all be right here on our YouTube page live. And then obviously you can go back and watch it after. The Big 12 to me seems like a league where anyone could win. There's not like a clear-cut favorite to me heading into this season.
What did you see that they're not doing a media poll? Which I actually don't mind it.
I don't either, but it's kind of lame at the same time.
It's definitely lame, but I understand the reasoning because Arizona State and Iowa State were finished 13th and 16th last year.
Yeah.
And the reasoning is like they felt like towards the end of the season, since it wasn't like a Utah, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Baylor, like one of the top, more popular names in the conference. It was Iowa State and Arizona State, who Arizona State hasn't been good in forever until last year. And then Iowa State obviously has been a good program, but has never got over that hump.
Yeah.
So they're saying they just kind of think that hurt them, nationally. I don't think it really matters at the end of the day. I don't think a Big 12 team is going to get probably the respect they deserve. I still think BYU last year was – I never ranted about it. I never went online and was like, or I never went on air. But I still think BYU getting left out of the playoff when you put SMU in last year was kind of a highway robbery. They both had 2 losses. BYU beat them. BYU was playing great ball at the end of the year. Not saying BYU was one of the 12 best teams in the country, but just the fact that SMU got in over BYU, I think kind of spoke some character or spoke some volume. So I still think the Big 12s are ever really going to get the respect they deserve. People were disrespecting Arizona State going into that Texas game. They were 1 play away from winning that game. So I don't mind it, but it is lame. It is lame because it is lame to point they were picked to finish 11th and they won the championship because that's the Big 12. Yeah. That's every year, even when OU and Texas were in the conference, going pretty much every year. Outside of OU when they had their run, it was like, oh, wow, this team kind of came out of nowhere, and then the Big 12 championship.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. That run for OU was quite long.
Yeah, well, Big 12 championship game run. How about that? Starting back in 2017.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. I just had to take a little jab there.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
by the way, I just literally downloaded College Football 26. I'm getting into that tonight. That's probably what I'll be doing all night. But I was finishing up my grind on College Football 25 last night. I transferred to Oklahoma State. I won you guys a Heisman.
Thank you.
And then we played Oklahoma in the bowl game and got our asses kicked.
Did you purposely get your ass kicked?
No, I did not. I did not. I just thought that was very fitting way to end the season.
We actually had a guy from he's based out of New York, but he's obviously a huge college football fan.
Yeah.
And he was asking me and Mark about the Bedlam rivalry. He goes, is it that intense? Because because OU dominated that rivalry. And Mark's like, yeah, I mean OU dominated, but over the last 15 years of that rivalry, it was as intense as a rivalry can get.
Oh yeah.
Because even though OU was winning, OSU was right there.
It was always a good game.
Yeah, it was always a good game, and it was always a ranked matchup. But we did get a lot of, when we talked to people, they're like, please bring back Bedlam. I was like, I'm working on it. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Whatever we have to do, we'll try and bring back Bedlam.
And I only want to play Bedlam when OSU's good and OU's bad. I want to make that clear. That's the
I
only time I
figure
want to play.
that's the case, right? Why would it happen any other way, right?
Yeah, I don't want to play Bedlam whenever OU's like 10-1 in the SEC and OSU's like a 5-5 Big 12 team.
We'll see. We still have at least Bedlam in like basketball and stuff like that, which obviously is not as fun. Everyone would like to see it in football, but hopefully we can get that one day. All right, let's move on to Joe Castiglione. His announcement, the news came out the other day that he was going to retire. They had their little press conference this morning, which, by the way, shout out OU for trying to steal the show from the Big 12, one last time, right? Because on the first day of Big 12 Media Days, what do they do an hour before it starts? They have a press conference saying that one of the best athletic directors in school history is going to retire. So they had to sneak that jab in on the Big 12 there just right at the last minute.
Wait. What was the jab?
So they had the press conference an hour before the Big 12 was set to start their media days.
I thought about that.
Again, obviously massive news. Like you said, the best athletic director, obviously I didn't live through the 90s. I was born in 95, so I didn't experience OU football in the 90s. Thank God. And, turned that around, really turned around the athletic department as a whole. For me, I don't know anything other than Joe Castiglione being at Oklahoma, right? I'm 29, going to be 30 years old this year. So it was for me kind of like when Bob Stoops, which obviously Bob Stoops announcing his retirement was a lot bigger news for me personally, because I was like, dude, all I know is Bob Stoops football at Oklahoma. All I know is Joe Castiglione at Oklahoma. So it's big news. He's going to stay on as the AD emeritus. I don't really know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
I'm not smart enough to know that.
I think it means like, can I just do something, please? So I don't get bored.
I want to be retired, but also I'm going to be bored if I just sit at home all day. So
I want to have a job where I have to write 2 emails a day.
Yeah, that would be the perfect job for Joe C. Just respond to a couple emails, sit there, maybe throw on whatever golf tournament is on. And or maybe
be
just
the
go
vibes
hit
guy
the
around the office. Just be
exactly.
Guy.
Yeah, exactly. And to be quite honest with you, I'm sitting here thinking okay, who could Oklahoma go after? Obviously, Selman at Mississippi State is a name because he's worked at Oklahoma before. Obviously, the Selman name is very famous at Oklahoma. But honestly, Teabag, I couldn't name you 2 athletic directors in the whole entire country. I couldn't. That's how little I care about who the AD is at whatever school. And obviously it's more important because we work here in Oklahoma and all that. But I couldn't even come up with a list of 5 names off the top of my head.
No. I know Joe Castiglione, which only half counts now. Chad Weiberg, obviously. And Chris Del Conte at Texas, which is kind of another obviously too.
Exactly.
That's it. That's all I got.
And I plan on it staying that way because I really don't care about other schools' athletic directors. Just that much. But we'll see. Former AT&T CEO and the current chair of football at Oklahoma, which is a great job title, chair of football at the University of Oklahoma. I didn't even put his name in here. Randall Stevenson is going to lead the charge a little bit. And obviously I've heard that Joe C is going to be in on it. I'm sure Nagy's going to be on it. All these guys are going to be, there kind of, overseeing this stuff. So, we'll see. I thought George Stoya had some great pieces over at Sooner Scoop, about it. So we'll see. I don't really know. I wish I could sit here and tell people names and stuff like that, but I don't even know.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
The Joe C news wasn't necessarily shocking because you knew it was probably, he's 60.
Eventually, getting close to it.
Yeah, you knew you're in probably the last, at least the last half decade of his career, where that was going to be next year or 2 years from now, or it was soon. So it wasn't the most shocking thing, but it is one of those things where it's all I've ever known, and I'm not an OU fan, but it's all I ever known was Joe C. It's kind of like you said, it wasn't as shocking as Bob Stoops because even for me, all I knew with OU football was Bob Stoops. He was hired. He was hired before, 6 months before I was even born. So it's not shocking, but number one, Joe C is one of the best athletic directors to ever do it. Just think of all the national championships he's won, all the elite coaches he's hired. People forget too, he didn't hire Patty Gasso.
Yeah,
Like
she
you
was
gotta just
before,
assume he
yeah.
did, but Patty Gasso's been at OU for like 30 plus years.
Yeah.
Like she's like the longest tenured athletic person there, I think.
But it's also one of those things like giving her the things that she needs to excel the program.
He set it up for her. He set it up for her. And I'm not trying to say like, oh, try to take it away from Joe C. It's just like you always forget. It's like, oh yeah, Patty Gasso has been at OU forever. But he's one of the best athletic directors to do it. He was a pioneer in a lot of fronts. He went through challenges, ups and downs, and he was always able to maintain like, there's not like good organization. There are, but it's not like pro sports, because pro sports is one team with organizations. But OU just always seemed like a well-run machine, like a well-run, well-oiled machine for the longest time. And it still does, like, just because some of the athletic teams aren't winning as much, really just football. I mean, basketball, it kind of is what it is at this point for both OU and OSU, I think. Baseball for OU has been very good. Softball has been elite. Gymnastics hasn't gone anywhere. So just a hell of a run for Joe C. And, I don't blame him anymore. College athletics is becoming a young man's game.
It's a mess. Yeah.
and if you're 67, you're financially set. Why would you want to keep playing in it? No,
100%. Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, hats off to Joe C. Hell of a career, hell of a run. And I'm sure we'll still see him around a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Wearing that fedora.
Yeah, legendary piece there from Joe C. So that's really all I had on that. I wanted to get into briefly Thunder Summer League, and I'll say this: shout out to all those people that are sitting down and watching these full games.
Yeah,
because Teabag, I get like 5 minutes in, and I can't stomach any more of it because that's how bad the basketball is. It is not good basketball.
Whenever I'm watching Summer League, I'm just watching Nikola Topic and like AJ Mitchell.
Exactly. Yeah, like I'm watching a little bit of those guys, and then I'm like, why the hell am I doing this? I can just catch the highlights on like YouTube or Twitter or something like that. I don't need to be sitting here and watching 40 minutes. Yeah,
I've
exactly.
watched like 6 full game minutes, I think, of Summer League. I had it on like a little yesterday. But yeah, Nikola Topic looks good, awesome. Great. Add that to the arsenal. AJ Mitchell.
I think it's one of those things also, like, you want to see him with the starters and the second unit. Like, it's fun watching him in the Summer League do his thing, but I want to see what that looks like with Shea, with Dub, and all those guys, because it looks decent right now. Probably going to look a little bit better whenever he gets with those guys. And stuff like that. So
good players to make you better.
Sanaka on YouTube says Summer League looks like local Y trying to imitate the NBA. That honestly, I mean, there was like 100 fouls in the first half of the Thunder game the other night. It was just disgusting basketball. So
it was
but again,
free throws.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. Good to see Nikola Topic and like guys like Brooks Barnheiser and stuff like that, though.
You haven't brought up the biggest news of the day by far.
Go ahead and say it. I did see this briefly earlier.
Brandon Carlson signed to a 2-way contract with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's back.
NBA champion.
NBA Brandon champion. Yesterday was Brandon Carlson Day. Also, happy Alex Dukas Day, Preston, to all of our fabulous listeners out there. Celebrate accordingly. I think tomorrow is Adam Flagler Day. Shout out Adam Flagler. I think he's
which now. I will say this. I don't think he's going to be on the 2-way contract next year.
I think he's on the Hawks right now. I think he's on the Hawks.
Oh, is he?
Team. I think so.
Oh, okay.
I saw a tweet.
Yeah.
So that's got to be fact, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. That'll be Brooks Barnheiser's 2-way contract.
Yes, it will. So Brandon Carlson, Alex Dukas going to run it back, it looks like, on the 2-way contracts. We'll leave Brandon Carlson. I guess we don't have Alex Dukas news, but on Alex Dukas Day, we'll say he's going to run it back.
Yeah, we'll say that. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this on our parade talk show, but Mayor Holt was giving out days like Oprah. You get a day, you get a day, you get a day. Everyone got it, but I love it. I love it. Right. One last thing before we wrap this up, and you go eat some barbecue with Mark Rogers. So I was podcasting a bunch of the shows today because we're down a man. Shout out Sam and Reagan Humphreys with their new baby. I did notice that you didn't want to touch Jim's WNBA talk at the beginning of his show.
I was going to let him and Mark go at it. They don't get to the radio a lot, just them two. You can see him in the live stream laughing, and Jim calls me out for laughing. I think Mark got him pretty good, where he's like, if you're going to short the WNBA stock 3 years ago, you'd be losing a lot of money right now.
Yeah.
I'll never claim to be a WNBA fan. I'm not, but no one can sit here and tell me that Caitlin Clark is not one of probably outside of football stories. She's probably the biggest story and probably a top 3 athlete in America right now. If you look at the views she brings on any sort of content,
it's
TikTok,
crazy. Yeah.
YouTube, TV, whatever it is, it's insane. So I understand why the WNBA is being talked about, because it's the most drama-filled league I've seen.
Yeah.
The last 2 years. It's awesome just to keep up with the drama. I don't care to watch the games. I watch Caitlin play.
Yeah.
But yeah, WNBA, because of Caitlin Clark and the rivalries that are being created right now, has some stock being built to it. And Brett Yormark even said today, is with the addition of what's going on in the WNBA and how this could grow, we're going to double down on women's basketball. He said that as a conference, we're going to double down on women's basketball. So they try to become a women's basketball conference, which will it work? I don't know, but I like the idea, because Caitlin Clark at Iowa was must-watch TV. The most viewed college basketball player, men or women's, that we've ever seen.
No, 100%. I'm with you on that. I did like also those guys that kept betting Angel Reese to miss her first shot of the game, and then she coming around and cease and desisting them, saying, you need to take down all that content.
I didn't see that. What?
Yeah. They had to delete all those videos. I thought that was pretty funny as well. So, but yeah, that's gonna do. You got anything else before we wrap this thing up?
No, we covered it. Nope. I was going to talk about Brandon Carlson again, but I thought we just talked about that.
All right.
I'm really happy that Brandon Carlson is back.
Yeah, good for him.
I fell in love with him in that Tuesday night January game against the Cavs, where he hit 5 threes. That was awesome.
I think everyone did.
Yeah.
Right. So
I mean, it was like laughing at your TV. Even our two-way guys are good.
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thursday night, we'll have a little bit of a longer show, recap everything at Big 12 Media Day with Teabag, because he's going to be down there tomorrow again with all that. So appreciate everyone checking in with us and watching the show. Go eat some barbecue, and we'll see you guys on. You got one more thing?
Yeah. Well, I do have one more thing, actually. Thunder are NBA champions.
That is very true. It is
still
7:35 on July 8th, 2025, and the Oklahoma City Thunder are NBA champions.
Yep.
Let's not forget that. So
we cannot forget that. We're going to mention that every show forever.
Yeah, we'll just have to make a clip of that so we can play it as our outro.
Yeah, it's our outro.
All right, we'll talk to you guys on Thursday.